certificate.
What's up, Mason? I might be. Depends on who's asking. Go on, mate. Alrighty, I'm gonna have you put your arm up this side. I'm gonna start on the inner, the shitty part. I'm gonna move your arm now. Okay, so I'm busy tattooing, so give me a call if there's anything. My phone is on loudspeaker and it's got it right next to me, so if you need to take Joe out to the ER, just let me know what's happening. Hey man, are you good? Are you alright? I love you, and I love Joe. Keep me in the loop, please. Okay, let's do this.
Can you do me a favor? Can you say to me, there's nothing else that you need to do or think about other than this? I said it so nicely the other times in my favorite episode.
Ask said what's designed for today.
I'm gonna be. Hold on, chat. I'm gonna be with you guys in a second. Dude, you have nothing to stress about. Everything's gonna be great. We're gonna get to the outcome that you want. I'm gonna work slowly, carefully. We're gonna do like little step by step, get like feedback, check that I'm on the right path. As soon as I know that we're cruising on the right avenue, then just carry on cruising. Most of this is gonna be fine line work,
Hi Utaku said hey
so
Agilio.
it's gonna be super chilled. You don't have to stress. You have nothing to focus on except the tattoo and this experience.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Nothing to focus on except this experience, and it's gonna be for your better. You're gonna come out of this swinging a whole lot happier, fat smiles. Gonna turn you into a second session happy customer. Hello, Jared. How are you? Just pardon me for 2 seconds. I'm just quickly checking in. My son is running like a 39-degree fever, so just checking what the wife says about the situation.
Your device is connected.
Jared, did you say you are coming or you're not coming? Oh, you are? Okay, sick. I'm glad to hear that. So today's tattoo project is a little bit different from what you'd expect because it's not really a bad tattoo. It's just a tattoo that was done not to quite to the liking of the client. This one is going to be covered up.
Utaku said we can discuss drama later though.
Yeah, I'd like to see if you're good, bro. Are you ready? I wish this seat could go lower. I've got a fucking shrimp it. interrupt you, Zim, but are you good? Music fine, but you prefer something else? That tone sounds like your supervisor is disappointed in you, but you didn't do enough to get fired. So. I'm so sorry. You know what you should do? Take every opportunity you can to spend time with her. If you need a minute today, just say, I'll take a break. No hesitation. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start stippling shading. I'm just going to get you to give me feedback as I work. So I've just done like a little section. Want to check that we're on the same page? Not yet. I mean, I've just done a few like outlines, so it's not really much to look at. You're allowed to investigate. It's fine. I know a guy who can hook you up with the nicotine if you need, so you're sorted.
But you don't smoke menthol cigarettes, do you?
I do Marlboro and Beyond.
You know, the irony is she is a vegan. She exercises daily. She does not drink. She's not a drinker. She'll have wine and whatever. She doesn't smoke. Do you know what Reiki is?
Yeah.
She's my Reiki teacher. That's how we met. But when I stopped the courses, I still wanted to keep the friendship, so we just became friends. You know, she's
Textbook healthy.
so healthy. She shocked herself.
So unfortunately, I've also lived through that situation twice, in my own health experience and with my mom.
You had cancer? No way.
Do you want to see my residual melanoma?
Because you're 30, right?
Yeah.
So when did you have it?
Teens.
In the teens.
I did not do.
Chemo.
I didn't do traditional treatment. No.
What did you do?
Lifestyle changes. I'm cut off all my family. I don't do that anymore. It ain't worth it. My mom didn't survive, but I did. And it's actually pretty cool. There's interesting things.
So what type did you have?
Skin. Everything. Eventually.
Eventually.
She did radiation, that was a death sentence.
and bone in his big stomach with all the fluid in his guts.
I've got a friend who got diagnosed recently,
Mm-hmm.
and he's in his 60s.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him 2 months to live. He's on 8 months. He's not doing any chemo, any radiation. He's going to the gym. He's eating healthy. He's cut off all of his ties with his family. I see him every day. We chat shit. He comes to the gym here.
Mm.
So the quality of life that you have by not going the medical route is just so much better.
Yeah.
There's also a good chance to reverse it. So like there's a lot that needs to be discussed though, but I want to sound like a crazy person. Well, the live stream is freaking the hell out.
Why?
It's because of the lighting and the camera angle.
Do you watch any sport?
Not really. It's not my cup of tea. Different strokes, different flags. I mean,
Mm. No, I was watching the F1.
I heard a lot of people like F1.
It's so much nicer now because, like, when I watched it when I was in primary school, like, you'll put the TV on, you'll watch the race, they'll interview the 3 drivers, the top 3 drivers at the end. Same with qualifying, like, you watch qualifying, they'll interview the top 3 drivers, and that was it. But nowadays with social media, you get to connect with the drivers. Yeah, you don't know them personally, but you get to know their personalities a bit more because they make them do all these what do you call it?
Interviews?
Yeah, like, but it's like media stuff. Like they'll do grill the grid, so they ask them questions, and you see how much they know, and it's funny, it's entertaining, you know. And then they'll do like quizzes, like guess the country, they'll do like races. They'll have them do like, you know, those big bouncy balls that they use at the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they'll do a race bouncing on that, and then they post it all over like YouTube and all the socials, so then you just see them on your feed all the time. And I mean, they're nice to look at. You don't get an ugly Formula One driver. It's part of the.
I'm not really like sexually attracted to men, so I don't know what a good looking man or a bad looking man is, but I'll take your word for it.
Like Henry Cavill, isn't he objectively good looking? No.
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure has me interested.
Sorry?
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure has me interested, but it's an
What's
anime.
that? Oh.
I don't watch live action content anymore.
Really?
I haven't for years. You know. I don't like the format of storytelling and the rinse repeat styles.
Okay.
I'm excited, yes. I'm also heartbroken. I have to leave my family behind for a month.
You're going for a month?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Um, but like it is nice to go to Cape Town. I do enjoy it. It's just have a deep longing to be around my family. But my wife doesn't like Cape Town, so can't take her with.
Speaking of, I went to my beautician. So went to get a pedicure basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this client of hers whose nails she's doing, and I'm like, you look familiar, do I know you? And we just covered bases, like where do you live, where do you go to church, where do you work, done. And no common ground. And then this morning I realized she reminds me of your wife. That's why I thought I know her. I feel like she's a doppelganger kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So strange.
The world is an interesting place for sure. Lots more than we think. I was actually pretty shocked. I had a friend of mine, I was talking to him 2 weeks ago. We were chatting shit and we hadn't spoken in a while, and he was telling me life has just been busy. I hung up really soon. 3 days later, I saw a post that he's passed on.
No.
So,
Are you serious?
so it just reminded me a little bit to appreciate the time we have here. And how short it is and how quickly it can be taken away. But another thing that was so funny is the same day that this guy passed away, and I found out that he's a friend of ours gave birth. So I know it's cheesy, but things happen in some semblance of a balance.
Ghostly Wheels.
Hello, Ghost.
Big Papa.
How are you? So where the world is crumbling on one side, it's building itself up on another. Makes it very conflicting. Because on one side you want to just cry, on the other side you have to also be appreciative of the fact that this is still good out there.
Ghostly Wheels said, good you.
I'm good, thanks, King. Did you have a good weekend, Mr. Sir? Did you roll around town terrorizing everyone in that chair? This friend of mine is on the stream now, this wheelchair-bound gentleman.
Ghostly Wheels
when I
said
get to
they're going
America, I'm gonna
through
take
some
them.
change, but all right.
Okay, what kind of change? And then when they go to America and go out in town, get shit-faced with a wheelchair-bound person. I feel like that's a good goal. It's like I want to go get drunk, but with someone in a wheelchair.
The
But I mean, imagine it's so funny if he folds like a Galaxy Z Flip.
Wow.
It'll be funny. Maybe not in the moment, but at some point we'll have to look at it and be like, bro, you flip like a fly. And he'll be like, yeah, so did you. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. And I wasn't even in the wheelchair. Like, yours is more impressive. Such a good guy. And he's got a sense of humor on him. I can make jokes. Either that or he's just waiting for me to get to America so I can drive his
Ghostly
wheelchair into my
Wheels
shins.
said I might have to go to YouTube and type it out.
Oh, damn, bro. Well, you can drop it in Discord. Okay, quickly have a look here. Am I understanding the assignment?
You are.
But do you see what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to diminish the values, but
No.
I'm definitely upping the contrast tremendously.
Because basically that's all it really needed, the contrast to be.
Yeah, it's just done very, very soft. Like, it's not a bad tattoo. It's just not taking into account how dark the skin is. So, faith in humanity restored again. Something like that. Maybe not this week. We'll talk about it next week.
You're talking to me?
Mm.
And you're talking about the tattoo?
Mm-hmm. I'm not insensitive enough to try and comment on your personal life. I'm a dickhead, but there's levels.
You said you are Christian, right?
I believe in God, but Christianity is pushing it.
Ah.
Are you Christian?
No. It's the short answer. It's been a journey. I was born Muslim, I told you that.
Right, what we're doing here with the tattoos is considered a stonable offense. Luckily we're in South Africa and not in Middle East, so you should be fine.
No, I was born Muslim up until the age of 16, 17. I never really explored much else because I'm under my parents' roof and I don't have a choice basically. And then I OD'd at 17 and my parents allowed me to go to youth meetings with my school friends as a way of socializing, trusting that I would not waver in my faith, which was becoming narcissistic. But yeah, I wouldn't whatever. But so I know your relationship with your dad is complicated, but for the most part parents do the best they can, right? So my parents used God as a disciplinarian. So they would tell me, if you do something wrong, God will punish you. If you do this, God will punish you. If you do that, God will punish you. So I created an image of the Grim Reaper in my head, and that was God, you know?
Sounds about right.
Right. So when I went to church for the first time, it was like, God loves you, is what I heard at church. And I was like, this is strange, but I like how it feels.
Ghostly Wheels said so for a while I built up bad habits by using my wheelchair like I should and primarily sit on my bed, and recently I changed things so I have to sit in my chair and my body isn't used to it.
Ooh, okay guys, I'm gonna comment on that in a second. I'm just listening to a story. Hang around, bro. Please continue.
GRIMMJOW.Jagger said, did you know Kanye dropped the album? It's fire.
Did you know that I don't give a fuck? Kanye's music is so fire, you should throw it in a pit and let it burn. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
So yeah, so I liked it. So I started to like pray in a Christian way and learn about God, learn about Jesus. And it was very nice. So I did but in college, I was dating a guy that believed that you shouldn't like change your religion. You should always remain in the religion you're born into.
Cool. Yeah. Sorry.
So it was complicated because your partner is one of the closest people to you in your life, so you tend to consider what they say when you're making decisions. So anyway, I carried on in this in between, living this double life, and triple life, if you want to call it that, and then I lived like that most of my life until like 27. Like between 17 and 27, like I labeled myself as Christian, then agnostic, then atheist. I That's how it was. And then at 27, I was like, I'm tired of living the double life. I wanna embrace Islam to the fullest that I can embrace it, and hopefully that will bring me closer to my family, and I can marry a Muslim guy, and that will bring all of us closer together. So that's what happened. At 28, I got married to a Muslim guy, and then I had to live with a lot of restrictions that I wasn't used to. I did my best, but eventually I felt like I'm not being myself. I'm not being true to who I really am inside, and because he believed it, so he had like blind faith. He never questioned much. If it was in the Quran, and I don't know what hadith, but if it was in the Quran, he would believe it wholeheartedly. And I'm not that type of person. I always question everything, and I want explanations.
See, this is exactly how we got to the situation when Adam and Eve were like chilling in the garden and the woman is offering apples out. Because you guys ask questions. Oh, no, I'm joking. I'm actually literally in exactly the same journey boat.
Really?
It's that question fucking everything. It was a poor taste joke, sure, but I mean it's like literally it's exactly how it is for me. But please
You
continue.
can relate,
No,
yeah.
I relate more than you think.
Yeah.
Shitty joke aside, like
You do.
you're like, oh, I'm recently an atheist.
Really?
Like it's in months.
Oh, okay, we're gonna get to that now. I wanna hear
Yeah,
more about
no,
it
no.
if you're happy to share.
I'm happy to share. I'm listening to you tell your story. Sorry for my chickens.
No, it's fine. And then, yeah, so the marriage lasted about 2 years, and then we got divorced. And after we got divorced, I was just back to being like agnostic, basically. And I've been, yeah, and then somewhere along the line, about a year and a half or 2 years after that, I had this gut feeling that no, I need to go. But they were things. They were like signs. They were like conversations and people that were crossing my path, and I was like, okay, I feel like I need to go to church again. So I started going to church, and the guy I was dating at the time was Christian, but he wasn't hardcore into religion, So like I would go to church, he wouldn't come with me, and then I would get home on a Sunday because I used to go to the evening service, and then I'd come home on Sunday and I'd video call him. Like that was the routine, and then I would just chat to him a little bit, and then I'd start pray over him. I'd pray over the relationship. I would pray just in general, And then sometimes he would just fall asleep, like because you were just feeling so peaceful and relaxed. And then when our relationship ended, I went back to like I was very. So what happened was I was in a church where the pastor was putting pressure on me to get baptized because he knew I wasn't. So in his mind I wasn't saved. And he's like, no, you're like, you're saved. And I'm like, well, the way I understand it is that if I get baptized, I'm denouncing every other religion, and I'm saying that every other religion is wrong and every other God is a false God. And I'm like, but I don't actually believe that. I believe that there's God and there's people choosing to worship Him and connect with Him in different ways. That's what I believe. So I got angry and I like stopped going to church. I was like, no, I can't do this. You're just making me angry. And then the guy I was dating for like a year after that, he was 8 years, so he didn't really care. So I've just been living like labelless for the past year and a half or 2 years. then now the signs are coming again, and it's like I'm gonna go. Like when I went to do my pedicure yesterday, I had like over an hour conversation after my appointment with my beautician about God and about religion, about Jesus and stuff like that, and it was just the way it happened. I was like, okay, I need to go back. um, Hence me asking you if you are.
I'll tell you my story when you finish with yours.
Yeah, that's basically where I am because I went to the beautician yesterday and I think I want to go to church this evening. Today's evening service. Yeah, that's where I am right now.
I feel like your journey with God is a very personal journey and it doesn't include everybody else. And the more people you get involved with it, the more warped the perspective comes and the more you will shift your perspective because people are involved. I, one morning on my way to work, so get on the highway at Water Avenue and get off at Witch Hazel Avenue. So you get on at Water, then there's that little off ramp.
That's short.
I asked God, like, I just want to know, like, am I wrong with the atheism thing? I mean, I'm pretty confident it's because I don't see the evidence. And just like come and step in, and I said to him, please give me an answer in my language, not some fucking warped sign that I'm supposed to spot through a glint of silver 250 kilometers away. Send someone to speak to me on my level and make sure that they're not someone who's close to me. That fucking day, some dude walks into the shop, asks for a walk-in appointment. I can't help him during the day. I book him in for the evening, and he tells me his whole story. And then his story answers my question. So I was like, cool. And then I said to God, very simply, I'm not going to start conversing with people. I'm not going to go into community because I am going to fucking rip someone's head off the moment that they start spewing their personal crap and the stuff where it's open for interpretation. I'm not doing that. I was raised Christian. Parents converted to Judaism when my mom found out about our lineage. Did the whole thing, did the whole bar mitzvah thing. When I read the Torah through my bar mitzvah, I read through a 2,000-year-old Torah for my studies, saw how much the Bible has been changed, altered, and perceivably swayed to, facilitate an agenda or a thought process, and that's where I strayed completely, and I was like, fuck this. People have just screwed this thing up so much. It's so fake. And religion is all fake. Sorry. I know for some people that's probably like, my dad's a great example. He holds on to religion so dearly that it's the sum of his personality. Every second word out of his mouth is God this, God that, God this, God that, and that's cool. I mean, fair enough. But I mean, it's the sum of his personality. Like he's got nothing else going for him, so that's what he's holding on to. Not a bad thing. It's better than holding on to nothing. But at the same time, I don't think, in the perspective of there being a God, there definitely is a God. I don't know what the truth is because he hasn't come to visit me in person and be like, okay, bro, here's all my history books. Let's chat. Let's get the facts sorted out. So until such a time that comes around, he has to also understand there's so much information swinging around that it's almost impossible to be perfectly accurate. So I think it comes down to a very simple life process. Choose to try and live a righteous life. Don't be righteous because you can't be. You're going to sin, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get angered, you're going to screw up. Try to still do the best you can with what you've got. Impact people positively when you pass them. And that's the sum of it, and that's just all I've got. I mean, I'm not going to stop listening to my heavy metal. I'm not going to stop smoking urgently. I'm not going to stop tattooing people. I'm not going to swing my life around and become a reformed drug addict. I mean, I'm not hating on anyone that's done drugs, but I'm not going to start fucking grabbing a Bible and running around and fucking hitting people in the face with it. Because there's certain things that are considered sin that I don't agree with. Yeah. My life has been Restricted for what behavior? Violent or criminal behavior? How? Oh. How the fuck is it violent or criminal behavior? Oh, fuck this app, man.
You can stop your live.
Yeah, TikTok hit me with like a violent or criminal behavior fucking ban thing, which is bullshit.